Close your eyes. Take a slow breath in and let it out. You are going to travel somewhere peaceful tonight, somewhere far away from the noise and the brightness of your world. You are going to a small English village in the year 1320, a place of soft sounds and simple things. There is no rush here, no hurry, no worry. Only the slow, quiet turning of a long and ordinary day. Let everything else go. Let your shoulders settle. Let your hands rest. And simply listen. It is very early in the morning. The sky outside is still the deep blue of almost night. You are lying on a bed of straw, covered with a rough woolen blanket. It is warm against your skin, heavy, soft in its own way. The smell in the air is old wood and ash, and something faintly sweet from the dried herbs hanging near the door. Lavender and rosemary and a little thyme. You breathe it in without thinking. The fire in the hearth died down while you slept, but the stones are still warm, still holding the last of last night's heat. The glow is very faint now, just the soft orange red of dying embers, pulsing gently in the dark. There is no sound yet from the village, only the quiet. And then, very softly, a rooster, far away at first, muffled by the walls and the distance, a long, slow crow that rises and fades, and then another, closer. You do not need to move yet. You simply lie there, listening. The darkness outside the small window begins to soften, not quickly, slowly. The way darkness always gives way to morning here, a little at a time, gray becoming gray-blue becoming something almost silver. A bird begins, just one, a simple repeated note, and then another bird answers from somewhere across the lane. The straw beneath you rustles very slightly when you breathe. The wool blanket is rough against your chin, but warm, very warm. You stay still a little longer, just breathing, just listening to the birds waking up. You rise slowly. There is no sudden movement here, no alarm, no rush. You simply sit up in the gray light, push the blanket aside, and feel the cool morning air settle around your shoulders. Your feet touch the packed earth floor. It is cool and smooth, worn down by many years of the same morning. You pull on your clothes, a linen shirt, rough and loose, woolen hose that you tie at the waist, a long tunic that falls to your knees, thick wool, still holding a little warmth from where it hung near the hearth. You blow gently on the embers, not too hard, just enough, and add a small handful of dry straw, then a thin stick, then another. The flame catches, small at first, delicate, and then it grows. You add a piece of split wood, and the fire settles into a soft, crackling sound. The light in the room changes. The shadows warm up. The walls glow a dull amber. You fill the pot with water from the bucket and hang it on the iron hook over the fire. Everything is slow, deliberate, unhurried. You move to the door and lift the latch. The wood is smooth from years of your hand touching it in this same way. Every morning, just like this, the door swings open. Cool air rushes in. It smells of earth and dew and something green. The smell of a morning that has been rained on in the night, fresh and quiet. You stand in the doorway for a moment, looking out at the village lane. The lane is narrow, packed mud smoothed by years of feet and cartwheels. It runs between the cottage walls, past the baker's house with its thatched roof heavy with moisture, past the well at the center of the green. Everything is still wet with dew. The thatch on the rooftops glitters faintly in the growing light. A single wisp of smoke rises from one chimney. The baker's. She has been up even longer than you. A cat sits in the doorway of the cottage across the lane, watching you with half-closed eyes, then looks away. The sky above the village is pale now, the color of old linen. with a thin line of warmer light along the eastern edge. You stay in the doorway a little longer, just breathing the cool air. You step back inside. The water in the pot is just beginning to make a faint sound, tiny bubbles forming at the bottom, not boiling yet, just warming. You sit on the low wooden stool near the fire. The warmth reaches you slowly, spreading across your front, your face, your hands resting on your knees. There is bread from yesterday, a small round loaf on the shelf, dense and dark, made from rye flour and a little wheat. You break off a piece. The crust crumbles at the edges. Inside, the bread is chewy and slightly sour. You eat slowly. The fire crackles softly. Outside, a cartwheel turns slowly down the lane, the sound of it rolling over the uneven mud, creaking softly, getting closer and then further away, and then gone. A woman's voice, very far off, low and unhurried, then quiet again. You take a small cup of the warm water from the pot and hold it in both hands, feeling the heat pass into your palms. You sip it slowly, just warm water, clean and simple. There is something very good about a warm drink in the morning, here in this stone and daub cottage, with the fire low and the village just waking. You set the cup down, take a slow breath, and listen to the morning arrive. You walk out through the village gate toward the fields. The path is well worn, packed down by years of feet going this same way, morning after morning, season after season. The fields spread out around the village in 3 great strips, open and flat, the soil dark between the low earthen ridges. In some places the grain is already growing. Winter wheat, thin green shoots standing in rows barely an inch tall. A faint mist of green across the dark soil. You walk slowly past them, each one just a thin blade of green, pushing up through the dark ground, quietly, persistently. The morning is fully here now. The sky above the fields is pale blue, not bright, not sharp, just a soft, steady blue all the way to the horizon. Clouds move slowly from the west, high and white, their shadows passing over the fields. When the shadow passes over you, the air feels slightly cooler. When the sun returns, the earth smells warmer, that deep old smell of damp soil in sunlight. You walk on, along the edge of the open field, past a line of elms at the boundary. Their leaves, just coming in fully now, are that bright yellow-green of spring moving toward early summer. They shimmer slightly in the breeze. You sit down at the base of one of the elms. The bark is rough against your back. You look out across the fields. A man and his son are working in the far strip, moving slowly behind an ox, turning the soil. The ox, heavy and patient, moving at its own quiet pace. The sound of the plow is very faint from here, just a soft, tearing sound carried on the breeze, and then gone. A lark rises from the field in front of you, rising in a spiral, getting smaller, and then you can only hear it, that high, rapid, pouring song coming from somewhere in the blue. You sit and listen to the lark for a long time. The sun is high now, not hot. This is England, and the year is young enough that even the middle of the day is gentle, just warm on your shoulders, warm on the top of your head. You walk back toward the village. At the mill pond, the water is still and reflects the clouds. The mill wheel turns, slowly and steadily, driven by the small stream that feeds the pond. The wheel is made of heavy oak, old and dark with years of water, its paddles dripping as each one rises and falls, dripping and turning and dripping again. The sound is a low, rhythmic thud, and the splash of water, and the creak of the axle over and over, the same sound, repeating. It is a sound that has been here longer than you can remember, longer than anyone can remember. You stand near the pond for a while, watching the wheel. A heron stands at the far edge of the pond, very still, looking down at the water. It does not move. You do not move. The wheel turns. The heron stands. The water reflects the slow clouds. Then the heron lifts, one slow, heavy wing beat, and rises, and turns, and is gone over the tree line. You walk on. In the mid-afternoon, you walk to the far end of the village, where the blacksmith works. You can hear him before you see him. The sound of the hammer on iron, heavy and low, not sharp, not ringing, just a deep, solid weight falling again and again, each stroke deliberate, each one absorbed into the warm afternoon air, leaving a small silence before the next. Thud, pause, thud, pause. The smithy is a low building, open-fronted, the thatch dark and heavy above the open side. Inside, the forge is burning, not with a leaping flames, but with a deep, concentrated heat, orange and white at the center, the charcoal glowing. The bellows move slowly, in and out, worked by a boy of perhaps 12, his arms moving steadily, his eyes on the coals. The smith himself is at his anvil. He is a big man, but all his movements are careful, precise, unhurried. He holds the iron in tongs, turns it slowly in the heat, watches it change color, orange to bright orange to the beginning of yellow. Then he brings it to the anvil, and the hammer falls. Thud, thud, thud. Sparks jump with each stroke, landing on the earthen floor, dying immediately. The rhythm of the hammer is almost hypnotic. Thud, pause, thud, pause. The smith dips the piece into a bucket of water. There is a great hiss of steam and a cloud of white vapor, and then silence. He sets it aside, returns to the forge, begins again. You turn and walk back through the village. The sound of the hammer follows you, growing fainter, fainter, until it is just a faint rhythm in the distance, and then only the quiet lane. There is a stream at the edge of the village. It comes down from the low hills to the north, runs alongside the mill pond, and then continues south through a stand of willows. You walk there in the late afternoon. The willows here are old, their long branches trailing into the water, the leaves thin and pale and moving in the lightest breeze. The sound of the stream is constant, not loud, not rushing, just the steady, varied, soft sound of water moving over stones. You find a place to sit, on a low bank where the grass grows thick and green right to the edge of the water. You look into the water. It is clear. You can see the stones on the bottom, different colors, gray and pale brown and one that is almost orange, all smooth, all worn. The water moves over them, making the colors shift slightly, rippling the reflections. A water skater moves across a still patch near the bank, its 6 feet making tiny dents in the surface, leaving no ripples, just those small pressed-in circles on the water's skin. In the deeper part of the stream, a small fish holds itself against the current, perfectly still except for the slight fanning of its tail. You watch it. It watches nothing, just holding there, in the cool, clear, moving water. The willows sway very slowly above you. Their reflection in the water sways too, breaking and reforming, green and silver and green again. You breathe slowly. In, out. The water washes over the stones, taking away whatever you no longer need to carry, each ripple pulling something small and heavy from your thoughts and letting it drift, downstream and away. The stream talks to itself, over and over, in that patient, wordless way. You could sit here for a very long time. The light changes, slowly, and then all at once, the afternoon softens, the shadows lengthen across the lane, the air cools by just 1 or 2 degrees, but you notice it. a freshness along your arms, on the back of your neck. You walk back toward the village. The lane smells different in the evening. A dry, earthy smell, pleasant and old. People returning from the fields. A woman hangs a cloth over the fence outside her cottage, smoothing it flat with her hands, slowly, methodically. Children appear, 3 or 4 of them, running across the green without any particular reason, just running because the evening has come and the work day is over. Their laughter is brief and light. Then they disappear around the corner of the church. The smell of wood smoke and something cooking reaches you on the breeze. Pottage, that thick, slow-cooked soup of the evening, vegetables and grain, bubbling all day on the fire, thickening, becoming dense and warm and filling. Back in the cottage now, the fire is built up again, burning well, bright and warm. You stir the pot slowly with a long wooden spoon. The pottage is thick now, a deep brownish green, full of leeks and onion and dried peas that have swollen and softened, and barley that has bloomed into soft, rounded grains. You ladle it into a bowl. You sit by the fire. You eat slowly. The firelight moves on the walls, the shadows warm and jumping slightly with each small shift of the flames. You eat every bite and set the bowl aside and sit a little longer by the fire. The evening comes fully now. You sit by the fire and do small things. Mend a piece of cloth, slowly, the needle pulling through the wool with a quiet, rhythmic sound, in and through and back, in and through and back. You do not think about anything in particular. Your hands move. The fire breathes. Outside, an owl calls once from somewhere near the elms. A single, low, round sound. Then nothing. There is nothing you need to do now. The day is finished. The fire is lower. The room is warm and dim. You move slowly around the small space, putting things in their places, the bowl on the shelf, the spoon in the crock, the mending folded and set aside, everything in its place, everything quiet. You unlace your shoes, set them near the door. Feel the cool earthen floor under your feet. You take off your outer tunic and fold it over the stool. You move to the bed. The straw rustles as you lie down. That same dry, papery sound it made this morning seems longer ago than it was. You pull the wool blanket over you. It is heavy across your chest, warm almost immediately, your own warmth rising back to you from the wool. The fire is low now, just coals, giving off a deep, steady orange glow, not bright enough to see by, just enough to know it is still there. The light flickers very gently on the ceiling beams above you, old beams, dark with smoke and years, curved slightly with the weight of the roof above. You look up at them. The sounds of the village fade. One by one, a dog barks far away and stops. A door shuts somewhere. Wind moves through the thatch above you. A very soft sighing sound, like breathing. Then it stops. And there is only the quiet, the deepest quiet. The fire settles into itself. Lower, lower. The glow on the ceiling dims. You breathe slowly. In and out. The blanket is so warm. The straw beneath you is soft in its way, yielding, cradling. Your body is heavy. Your eyes are heavy. The sounds have gone now, all of them, even the ones you stopped noticing. There is only the room and the faint warmth of the dying fire, and the dark. Outside the window the stars have come. You cannot see them from where you lie, but you know they are there. The same stars that have always been there, above this village, above all the fields and streams and thatched roofs, turning slowly overhead, as they always have, as they always will. Everything that happened today was simple. The bread, the fields, the stream, the fire. Simple and slow and enough. The village sleeps. The mill wheel has stopped for the night. The stream moves on, Quietly, in the dark, over the same smooth stones, the wheat fields are still. The elms are still. Everything is still. You are still. Your breathing slows. Your thoughts soften and drift, like the dust motes in the afternoon light, turning, drifting, settling. The fire is almost gone now, just the faintest red at the heart of the coals, pulsing once very slowly, and again, and again, and then only warmth, only dark, only the sound of the world breathing, slowly, in and out, and in and out. Sleep now. Everything is quiet. Everything is well. You are safe. You are warm. The village sleeps. And so do you.